My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, and I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
This is the first episode of 2022, y'all. Woo! Happy New Year to everyone.
It's not 2022 here.
Well, it's not 2022 when we're recording it, but it will come out in 2022. So we hope that you had a happy New Year, whatever you were up to. Hopefully you were doing it safely. We're starting in the new year with y'all's favorite, okay? Just y'all keep asking. Y'all love this shit. We just keep doing it. That's right. We're doing a what we are watching. So what did we end off our last year with and begin our new year with? Listen, we just love talking about stuff that we love. So this is one of our easiest and favorite things to do. So we got to pick our order. And as is usual, we will let Siri decide. Robots know better than us, you know?
It's true. It is Natalia, me, Sky, Amanda.
Then Amanda.
It's like perfect on my screen. I don't know if it's perfect on everybody else's screen.
Mine is like diagonal.
It is if I go clockwise. All right, so I guess I'm going to start. My epic journey of Young Lady and Gentleman continues. Things have taken a spicy turn. Young Lady and Gentleman. And wild. He got his memory back. Lost it. Like, listen, it's a soap opera. You get what you want, you know? Like,
yeah. It's
got all the plots, okay? It's the type of show that as soon as something that you want has happened, they immediately snatch it away from you. They're like,
tease you with it, and then nope.
Yeah, literally, like, they'll give you a scene where you're like, yes, and then they're like, oh, sorry, soap opera rules, can't do it. I'm obsessed with it. It's not even funny. But since I've already talked about it, I think like the last 3 of these that I've done, since this is a 50 episode show, I'm gonna just move on. I watched the entirety of a Chinese rom-com called Love at Night, which has a very spicy title. It's not that spicy. it's but like the opening credits really make you believe it's gonna be spicy. It's not. It's your standard corporate rom-com. It's on Viki and I think iQIYI as well. It follows a very competent lady who finds out this all happens in the first couple episodes. I'm not spoiling anything. Who finds out that her fiance, Cheater McCheaterson, and then she goes out to a bar, like after determining she's going to break up with him. Fiance and boyfriend of 10 years, by the way. Relationship. Yeah. And gets drunk and beats the high score of the guitar player who plays at the bar. And then maybe they have a one-night stand. I don't know. This is all like the first episode. Like so much happens. But then it turns out he's not actually just the guitar player at this bar. He's actually like the head of an investment firm. That's like investing or something. A classic caper. Anyway, it was fun. It was like your standard.
I love how in Asian dramas it's like, oh, here's my secret. I'm actually wealthy. It's like, yeah, but it's like, that's quite a secret.
But it's also like bizarrely like after this like meet cute situation, it's a real slow burn after that. Like you're like, okay. But it actually is really cute. Like there's 2 like secondary couples that are really cute too. Like the main dude's like personal assistant and this woman who's in love with the main dude, adorable. And then the main girl's little brother comes back from college in Paris, all because he has a hankering for her divorced best friend who's 8 years older than him. So you get the Nuna romance too.
Nice.
I'm not even giving it. This all happened in like the first 3 episodes. Like, and there's like 26 episodes or something. They're like short. They're only like half an hour episodes. So I hammered through it pretty quick. I watched a couple Japanese dramas, BLs. One was My Beautiful Man, which has the most toxic relationship. I had someone in a group chat being like, no, like you just don't understand. I'm like, no, honey, no. Like this is not understand actually. This is not a healthy relationship. Like just because like he's misunderstood. It's like a healthy relationship. But it was like well done. But the opening credits very misleading. Like the opening credits were like these zany, cute, like, oh, he has like a rubber duck, like fun music. And it's just like the most somber, depressing show. So I was like, oh, okay. that is on Gaga Ulala and Viki, I do believe. And I also finished Keita Hatsukoi, which opposite of that had just the cutest, healthiest little relationship you've ever seen with the sweetest little beans. Very cute. Just chef's kiss. Just, you just want to pinch your little cheeks. They're so adorable. I'm also watching a lot of Thai things. So my epic watch of Baker Boys, which is the Thai television remake of Antique Bakery, continues. I haven't watched this week as I'm recording this episode yet because I got busy. It is exactly what you would expect it to be. Zany and weird and very what's the word I'm looking for here? Tonally discordant, just like the original source material. Like it's really following it quite closely. So
okay.
If you liked Antique Bakery, you're probably gonna like this.
So they hit it on the head. They even got the totally discordant.
They delivered what was expected of them.
But are there wacky like musical numbers popping up in the middle of?
There aren't in this, but listen, it starts with Singto saying he's the gay conqueror, and it's like, fair enough, my guy. And like, then they got the French dude coming. Oh God, it's a mess. Like, since the TV show and not like a movie, they're giving all these characters like more backstory than they got in the movies. So they're like inventing backstories for like the non-main characters, and it's ridiculous. Like some of them you're just like, okay, sure. Okay, because like in the original, only really like the main dude and the gay guy got like any extensive background, but in this one they're like, we're gonna give the bodyguard like a whole like side story. We're gonna give the you know, the boxer like an additional side story. Like, listen, they got it all. Okay, everyone's got a love interest. It's like Antique Bakery on crack. It went further. I'm actually really enjoying it. Speaking of Singto, he's also starring in a second show that is only on Gaga Ulala, which is Paint with Love. I really am enjoying it, but I will say it took like 3 episodes. And it's only on episode 5 this week. So it's like it took 3 episodes for me to really get in. And I was in a group chat with some friends who were talking about it, and one was saying she couldn't enjoy it because the other main lead, played by Tay Darvid, who's quite good, he just looks like grungy all the time, and she's not wrong. She called him the Great Unwashed, and I get he's supposed to be like a rustic like painter who like lives with his chickens and is kind of like, anyway, but like my guy just shaved, okay, like the stubble, but it's fine. Like he's adorable, and Singto is always delightful, and it's got Yacht in it if you're familiar with like Love by Chance and stuff. It's fun. It's, you know, it's imagine a Chinese rom-com, like a corporate Chinese rom-com, but gay. And that's what this is. That's exactly, it's hitting all of those like same plot points that you're looking for. You thought I was done with Thailand. I'm not, okay? I'm also watching Bad Buddy, the series. It's fine. I'm not going to go into it. I don't think I like it as much as everyone else does, but it's fine. It's fine. And all of us together, but I have continued, started watching F4, which is the Thai remake of Boys Over Flowers. It's off the rails. Okay? This show is insane.
I haven't watched the second episode yet.
It just keeps going up. Like we're on like the upswing of this roller coaster ride. It took the Boys Over Flowers like scenario and just went, what if this was on cocaine? Like, what if these people were just so awful?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of really like that first episode,
really
so I'm like kind of into it.
Liked it. Yeah, like, I just feel like I'm really enjoying it because it is insane. Like, what I'm like, oh no, is this my favorite version of Boys Over Flowers? Because they understood the assignment that was Boys Over Flowers.
Contextually, you know what I mean? It always makes more sense as a Thai, like. The Thai
has like a
people
Licorne
know how
feel to
do
over the top.
Yeah.
Like,
and yet keep it somehow enjoyable or relatable or whatever. Like make it feel like this is over the top, but still belongs here, as opposed to like some other countries when they go over the top. You're like, where did this come from? Why is this like this?
Well, even in episode 1, the small differences that occurred with just like essentially the timeline of who knew what when or things, those were choices that made it feel more natural rather than like
the way that she's in the school is a lot
makes more sense.
Like, you know, it just like creates a really good introduction into her. Like I really like her character.
And she's a really good actress. Yeah. And
I don't know if it is just that I just wasn't paying attention in any of the other versions when I watched them and stuff, or if they actually did a better job of doing this, explaining it somehow. But this is the first time that I ever made the connection between the red cards and soccer, and that it's like a foul thing, because something in the conversation that the mom was having in that interview when she was like, and sometimes you need to give a red, and I was like,
in a game. That's probably the way she said it.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it really works
red
out for the
card.
sports drama, you know.
That's right. And I have to say, the actress playing the main dude's mom, she's good. Like she's so good. Like you're like, ooh, like, oh god, this woman.
You need that, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
and it's like, and you get the, because like I found that like in the Korean version, like everyone else was scared of her, but I never got the impression that like Lee Min-ho's character was scared of her. You know what I mean? But in this one, you can tell that her son is terrified of her. Like it is not a healthy relationship. And so you sort of see like what, and while I'm not saying that people should act this way because their parents are shit, it actually makes it more grounded as to why he's a piece of shit. Because
that's cool.
He gets treated like one, and so he treats others like his mom treats him.
I like when they do that, when they give you like a reason why. Like, you know, when they give you those like characters, you're like, you're so over the top that you actually have to kill someone right now, or this is really unbelievable to the point you're making it like hard for me to watch the show. And then they never do, and you're like, come on. Like, or like their like parents are really great, and you're like, no way, not a single way.
In this one, it makes sense. So some of the tweets that I saw just like made me laugh, because if you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what was going through the mind of like the stylist who was styling the main dude, but like some of the tweets that I saw was like, really, you're gonna let yourself be bullied by a guy wearing 3 different animal prints and clown shoes? Okay. It's just like, yeah, he looks like a crazy person, like those
with too much money, a crazy person with too much money.
Like, but what I do like is
rhinestone encrusted shoes. I was losing it.
I love how it's like, I do what I want. Like, yes, that is what you're doing.
I'm going to take over the school and look terrible all at once, suckers.
Bold choices. Bold choices.
It very much feels like they were like, Lee Min-ho's hair and styling was like hold my beer. Like I am going to jump. No, take that as the jumping off.
It's point, like, Lee Min-ho had a fur collar. No, this guy's got a full tiger print fur full length coat. Okay, like
it does seem enjoyable.
It is fun. It's like
I wonder if it'd be a good binge though. You know what I mean?
I know it's
because there's only 1 episode a week.
Yeah,
right.
That's the problem with the old Thai shows, except for Baker Boys, which is 2 episodes a week. I don't know why, but it is.
It's a problem with us, like living in a world where, like, even with like the K dramas, we get 2 a week, and 1 a week. What?
Yeah.
So I am watching one more Thai drama. I'm like halfway through my list, guys. I have been busy. I am also watching another GMMTV called Not Me, and it is a very much a departure from GMMTV's usual BL fare, and I'm like really into it. It is the one that is rumored to be based on a GOT7 fan fiction, so I was gonna watch it anyway because of that, because it's funny. But it's about like, it's really good. It has like this dude who was separated from his twin brother when their parents divorced, comes back from school in Russia and finds out that his brother's in a coma and has been like beaten really badly. So he takes his brother's place to like find out what happened to his brother. And his brother was in like this motorcycle gang, not so much a gang as like literal social justice warriors. So they will like, if
vigilantes.
So if you're like a bad politician, they'll burn down your house, like that sort of thing.
Okay.
So he's now like, but his dad is a diplomat. And so he's supposed to follow his dad into like the diplomatic corps, and then finds out that like he's been passing all of his exams and stuff because his dad has been behind the scenes, like, you know, nepotism style. And then there's this other plot involving this like social justice, like graffiti artist who they encounter on one of their shenanigans. Anyway, it's a wild ride and I am in it. And there's only like 3 episodes so far, and it's so good. And that's all. And it is free to watch on YouTube.
I wououldn't have pegged that as a GMMTV.
Exactly.
That's
like,
Yeah.
That's
the off-gun one, right?
Yeah, it is the off-gun one. Oh, and fun fact, to go into F4, one of the main characters is the first kid who's beaten up by the F4 in F4.
Oh.
He plays one of the
I love him. He's adorable. He's got the biggest smile.
He does. He doesn't use it very much in this. Just pre-warning.
No, he didn't use it much in F4 either.
Yeah, and he's like coming at it from the fact that he is like a disabled mother who's deaf and keeps losing her jobs because people don't want to be bothered like having a deaf mate. Like it's got everything. It's so good. I'm really enjoying it. Okay. I am also watching some Korean things very quickly. I have started Tinted with You, which has Jun-hee from Ace in it. Very cute. Very cute. Very cute. Little web drama. On Netflix, I'm watching Inspector Ku. I'm almost finished. It's not bad. And finally, I'm trying to finish, but I am being foiled by Vicky as of the recording of this episode.
Of course.
I am trying to finish Royal Secret Inspector and Joy, which I love. I think it's so good, but I have been waiting for more than one day for the last 2 episodes to be subtitled. And as of midnight last night, they were not. And it is the only place to watch it. And it's the finale.
Why do they do this, like, especially on the finales? It's always like the worst like, weight on the finales. And it's not even wanting it. It's literally, they're like, we'll add a couple more days. You're like, what?
No, and it's like, listen, I do not want to go to the high seas to finish the show because I pay to watch it.
Yeah.
And I understand that it is the holiday season. So volunteers would be busy, which is why you pay your subtitlers. Anyway, weird. I think the show is great. I feel like they probably can't do too much to ruin it in the last 2 episodes, but listen.
Yeah, never know with a K-drama.
I'm not gonna like definitively say it's incredible as of this moment, as I have not watched the last 2 episodes, but it has been really fun.
It'd be funny if they Truck of Doom something.
Well, like
in a historical
trucks.
Right.
It's a wagon.
Arrows
are always big for it.
Yeah, arrows. That's usually what you get.
There's like a big plot line involving poison. So like poison of doom.
Poison. Poison. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm just really loving it. I think that, and you can feel. I know I'm about to say something real bold, but I feel like you can feel that everyone on set is having a good time making the show.
It looks,
which I think which really makes a show, like you can tell when the people making the show love the show, because no matter how like silly it gets, it never goes too far. It's got it all. It's got Tacky on it. Love him. It's got the girl from Extraordinary Me. She's adorable.
Extraordinary You.
Extraordinary You. That's right. There. Extraordinary Me. Extraordinary You. It just, they pulled in the dude from Vix in the second half just as like a little spice, just to. He's the one who's also on Bad and Crazy. He's in this too. Why not?
Hey,
well,
why not?
Why not? It's fun, man. Like, anyway, that's what I've been watching. What about you, Jessie?
So I am on a mission to watch a specific dramas by the end of the year, which it ends tomorrow in my life, not in yours. So I've like purposely have like put off watching any newer dramas. So right now I'm only watching like currently a couple and intention to get them done by tomorrow, which I think I can. I think it's going to happen. So those 3 dramas are Busted 3, which is a variety show. I mean, what can we say? It's Busted is always great. So it's just a lot of fun. I just had made time for it. So I'm trying to get that in. Hometown, which I'm pretty sure I talked about when I first watched it, because I watched the first couple of episodes. It's interesting. It's like taking me on a journey that I was not expecting at all. I don't know if I like it, but it's like super, it's not what it claims to be, or that it seems to be. I don't think it claims to be anything, but, and then I picked up this J drama called Risky, mostly because Yuki Furukawa is in it. And it just, who am I to say no? But it's like a kind of one of their like heightened thriller, whatever the equivalent in Japanese dramas for mahjong, you know, that sort of thing. Where, like, crazy loves and things are going on. It's like 25-minute episodes, only like 7 episodes long, and I'm halfway through it already. So like only have like essentially like a movie length left, you know. So like I think I'll be fine with it, and that's why I picked it up. It is on Viki, and Busted 3 is on Netflix, and Hometown High. But I did watch a lot of like and complete a lot of dramas this month. Some of them because there was a good chunk that like just ended at the beginning of the month, so that's kind of where it like looks, but I have a slew of them, so I will like say what I did, but I won't go over everything because it's actually like the longest list I think I've ever had. So I finished Rinko-san, which we talked about, the cute little J drama. I know Amanda was watching it, and then Sky, you started watching it.
Yep, I binged the heck out of that thing.
It's cute.
I need to finish it up. It's on my get it done before the end of the year list. So
that's cute. I hope it pops up on Viki or something.
It is. It is in the coming
on Viki
soon
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I did not watch it on Viki. Happiness, we've already talked about Happiness multiple times, so like we don't have to go into it, but yes, it was 10 out of 10 my favorite drama of the year. Jiri-san. Jiri-san
we will talk more about that some other time, I'm sure.
I think we like don't need to go into detail on Jiri-san right now because it deserves a full episode.
Yep.
In some way, like we'll do some sort of spoiler episode with some amount of people in it, because I don't think we should force people who don't want to watch it. But it was a ride. I will say that it was like one of those things that like the only reason I didn't drop it was because it was so interesting how weird it was, and like not in weird in like supernatural way, just like weird on the choices, weird on like the path of the characters, the weird on the setup. It was just like watching a car accident. You know, you should like be nice and look away and not think about it, but like here you are, you're a human, and that's just
you can't help it, you know.
Yeah, that was Jiri-san.
And for me, it also combined. It was also pretty. Like I enjoyed the nature, pretty. The nature shots. Like it was really pretty.
And you're like, I like all these actors. So what's going on? It's a very confusing, messy ride. So I watched Dr. Brain, which I thought was a really good sci-fi thriller. It's got some like horror elements to it, but it doesn't go like fully into it. It kind of like hints at it at the very beginning. I really thought it was a good sci-fi thriller. And if anybody has Apple TV Plus, is that what it's called? Apple Plus. I don't know. It's hard when they have like their little actual, you know, stick, you know, that you put on your TV or is the name, but then this is their service. It's super short too. So I think there was only 8 episodes, but I thought it was really great. The lead is what's his name from Maya
the guy from Pasta.
Yeah, and Pasta and Coffee Prince, and he was great in it. So I just thought it was really good if you're into like sci-fi thriller. It's definitely a thriller. Japan Sings People of Hope. It was fine. Not my favorite of the year, but whatever. I finished One Ordinary Day. I want to actually see the original BBC one to see if it compares. I thought it was good, but there's a really good chance that it's good because it was probably exactly the same like the original too. You know, it's one of those. But I thought everybody did well in the cast, and it kind of hinted towards a second season, but the original was set up for multi-seasons too. So, and it's one of those like multi-seasons, but not the same cast, or like only one character kind of going with it, and it's like a different person. Crime Puzzle, that was unexpectedly good. It is graphic. Do not watch it if you are not okay with that. And I am not like saying on K-drama terms, I'm saying they show all the deaths. So
yeah,
it was on a web service. I think it was Ole TV or whatever it is called. They didn't like go into like super gore in terms of like just not having the budget for it, obviously, but like you see how everyone dies, no blurring of anything. So just watch that out if you're watching it. But I thought it was a pretty good drama. I watched Law School. It was okay. It's kind of more like focusing on like random not fluffy, but like random stories that like took you out of the like main story because they didn't want to talk about it for a while kind of thing. I didn't think was like the best. Chimera, Vicky was my villain on Chimera. It took like 3 or 4 days for the last episode to freaking subtitle, and finally did. It was pretty good thriller. I finished Super Rich. It is also on Vicky right now. Oh, I should have been saying Happiness is on Vicky, Juria-san is on Vicky and IQIYI. Japan Sinks was Netflix. One Ordinary Day, Godspeed. Crime Puzzle was on Vicky. Law School's Netflix. So Chimera was Vicky. Super Rich is now on Vicky as well, and it's all fully done. So you can watch that if you want. There was like some time changes and it tanked. So my love for it in the first couple of episodes didn't last, but
bummer.
It was fine, whatever. I did a rewatch of my favorite show of all time, Come and Hug Me. So I could do a post on my blog, a review of it. And I ended up watching it like in a day. And I still love it. It's still great. I watched Influence, which is a J-drama. It's on Vicky. And it's kind of that like thriller, very like heightened mahjong-y. It was okay. It's really short too, so it wasn't the best, but it was short. The Silent Sea, I binged that on Christmas Eve when it dropped. I really, really liked it. So
good.
It's a great slow burn thriller. I like
sci-fi thriller.
I mean, well, you know, maybe talk about it next week, but yeah, but I enjoyed it, and that's on Netflix. Move to Heaven on Netflix. I watched it in one day. I did it, and I didn't think I was going to, and then I started it, and I literally could not stop. I am not joking when I tell you I sobbed at this show. Like sobbed, like to the point I really thought that my neighbors were gonna come knock on my door. Like almost every episode you cry, and like I would say that I'm like I cry at things, but I'm more on the non-crying side than the crying side. You know, I cry like a little bit, or like a couple of tears come, but oh my gosh, Move to Heaven. There was just this section, or was already crying. There's this section that did one story. I'm not going to tell you any of the stories because you have to just watch it. They did the story, and then I was already like really at my breaking point after that story. And then they immediately came with the next episode, and it just demolished me. I was like ugly crying. Like I was actually like making audible sound when I was crying. I was like, oh, and then the last episode, oh gosh, everything about it is so good. It is so good. Even if you're gonna cry, you should watch it. It's really great. It's about a kid who's autistic.
So good.
And his dad dies, and they owned a cleaning service that's like a cleanup of death cleaning service, kind of more focused on the belongings too. Like they don't just like I'm not trying to be gruesome, but like clean up where the bodies were. But that also might be because of the lack of I'm not going to go into that. Different countries, different things happen. But his brother comes in, who has just gotten out of jail, to be his guardian, and it's a story about them, and it's a story about the people's lives that they clean up. It's got kind of, it's not like exactly like this, but it's got this kind of 6 Feet Under quality to it.
Yeah.
You ever watched that show? It was on HBO or Showtime.
Yeah, it was.
I think they're like rebooting it or something fairly soon. Then that show was about a funeral home, and kind of just like the family kind of going through things, and kind of like the stories of the people who died. And it's got that kind of quality to it, but not as snarky and as kind of like dark humor, because there's no real humor in Move to Heaven. But the kid who plays the main lead is so good. Incredible.
He was in Racket Boys too, and I started like watching both at the same time, and then I had to put Move to Heaven on hold indefinitely for now for me. Yeah, like I watched like the first episodes of both of those, like I think in the first week, and I was like, that's the same kid. How is that the same kid? It's, like he's a good actor.
I can't say about the representation that happens in the show just because I can't, but he never once strayed from everything that he did. Like he was consistent in his character the entire time, and the way that he did things, which it felt like he was doing it in a place of love. Like he wasn't trying to like overact or anything. And I mean, like I like EJ Hoon a lot, but like the kid was the star of this show. Yeah. And he's got this really great best friend who lives across the street. I love them so much. I know. It was just so good. I really loved every second of it. Like highly recommend, even though you are going to cry. Like if I'm like sitting here sobbing and Natalia was crying, just know if you're a crier, you're gone for like.
That's why it is on hold for me.
Yes. I'm like talking about like I literally had to like pause to like get a tissue to clean my tears because I couldn't see raw. I was just gone. They don't like go into like super detail on anything. You don't see any, it's not gory or anything like that. Just know that. And I wish I could remember what they say, like every time they go to a site, they start off and their motto was that they are the people to do their final move to heaven. And so they got this like super like respect for everything that they do, and there's like a thing. It's so good. It's like so good. I'm so glad I got it in. I mean, like I knew I was going to like eventually see it, but that was a nice binge of crying. It actually like probably needed. So there you go. Just a couple more. Not Move to Heaven. Look at the Beginning. I finally finished that watch. I watched it on Viki. I thought it was good. It was kind of messy at the end, but it wasn't like terrible. I didn't hate it, obviously, like as much as everybody else in the world did, I guess. I just thought it was fun. Sci-fi thriller about creation and scientists making humans and stuff. And, you know, it's going to be messy, like, because it's not real. Like, it has to be, you know? I just watched DP yesterday. It's on Netflix. That was also a lot. I didn't expect to like it as much. I don't think I liked it as much as everybody else for things that I can't really, like, discuss because it happens at the end. So there's really no way to get around it without like spoiling. But I thought it was really good. It wasn't what I expected to be. The show is about Jung Hae-in. He goes into the military to start his enlistment, and he ends up starting to work at the DP office, which is the deserters. The deserters of the military. They go and like find the people. And so it's like essentially like him and the other person in the department going to find them like outside. Like that's what it is. It's kind of got this like, I don't know, crime drama type feel to it, but it's not crime drama. It really is about mental health and bullying and the insane bullying that happens in the military and how that can make people snap, and the reasons why they would be leaving. And they're all because of things that are happening in their time, in their stay. So it shows some of it, but it's not consistent, which I was like actually fearful of, because I don't like constant bullying. I can't handle it personally, but that doesn't happen. So it's got a little bit of lightness to it, and it's kind of got like a almost an episodic film because kind of each of the episodes they go to find another person. And so they're usually kind of tracking down family members or friends and stuff. So, and then last I'm going to say, because I just found this out yesterday because I'm very slow and I was talking to Sky about it. So I saw a TikTok and they're like, did you know that Roku TV had a K-pop channel? And I was like, wait a minute, what? Because I've never gone onto the Roku TV. I've had my Roku since basically we started this podcast, right? And I've never gone into Roku TV because I thought it was just like it had like an app. It was like just the section where it had like maybe like a weather app or you know, a random freebie like show. No, this is like hundreds of channels of free stuff. Yeah. And set up like TV. You scroll through the menu and you just kind of come in at things. And so I found the K-pop channel, which last night I watched Show Champion on, and I could have watched Weekly Idol if I had like stayed up for a couple more hours, but they had like special stages. They had things like Weekly Idol and After School Club and those sorts of shows. And then I found they have a Vicky channel and a Cocoa channel and a Midnight Crush channel and 2 anime channels. One is the Asian Crush channel and one is the Con TV. I don't know. So last night I watched they've got so many. The middle of episode like 7 of Miracle We Met, just randomly. Don't know what's going on. Maybe reincarnation, who knows? And then I watched like four episodes of Boogie Pop Phantom because I haven't seen that since, you know, like college. So maybe if you didn't know, like me, that like Roku channel was a thing.
It sounds appealing because, like, you know, I don't have cable or anything anymore. I just have all the streaming services, right? And so you have to think of like, what am I going to watch? Like, you have to like consciously decide. But the ability to pretty much have TV again.
It just like forces you into it. And I was like, okay, it just felt like it was a different experience. Like it wouldn't have been the same if I had like gone onto my Viki app and watched that episode. But on this, I was like, it's like I'm watching on live TV because I can't pause. It picks what the next episode is, and it wasn't even going to be another episode of like that. But I mean, they have like stuff like there's an Unsolved Mysteries channel that was just all Unsolved Mysteries, Forensic Files, MTV Cribs, like some of like the really like you know, stuff that you throw in the background. But I was like, stuff you throw in the background and stuff, and I was like, hi, I did not know this.
No, I gotta go check that out now.
It's just all free
because I've been ignoring it. Like I have it, you know, obviously, but yeah, same thing. I was like, oh, it's probably just like really bad stuff or like really lame. You know, I mean, now like, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Kind of, it would be like essentially like when you watch like things like TLC or you know those types of channels where it's like I think like Dr. Quinn Medical Examiner was on one of the channels and stuff, and then they have like music shows. They have like a slew, like probably like 20 Spanish speaking channels, and the little like it's just like Cocoa Classics and Vicky. I'm just like,
I love it. I love it.
What? So yeah. That's all that I've been watching. It's a lot, but I'm trying to get everything done by the end of the year for lists and stuff. So
yeah,
a reason.
So for me, I watched some. I did finish because last time we talked about this, I was just about to finish the web drama Find Me If You Can that has both MJ and Rocky in it from Astro, and it did end, and it ended well. As far as like finding the stalker and stuff, it was none of the people she was suspecting. So it was good. So Happiness, we already talked about that a lot. Jury-san, we already talked about that a lot. That was a moment in time.
We will always remember that moment, especially
and long episodes too with that. I just want to say.
I just remember going like, Sky, I need you to like finish the episode because I need to talk. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm not going crazy, right? It's not like I like zoned out in the middle of it, and that's why I can't figure it out, right?
Well, I would have to do that sometimes too. Like something would happen, I'd be like, is it because I looked away for a moment that this like makes no sense at all? Because man. So yeah, it was pretty with pretty people. I will say that.
It's true.
Listen, at the end of the day, sometimes that's all you need, right?
Lots of water.
lots of water.
And plants and foliage.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
There you go. If you're into nature.
I'm not gonna go like into it. I wonder why the writer chose to do what she did. Yeah. Honestly. Because it is the same one as Kingdom, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How, why is she the same person?
That other one, Signal. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like she's done fantasy, so it's not even our supernatural fantasy, but
yeah.
I don't know. There, like, sometimes, like, I feel like I have a good grasp on being like, you know what, like, I understand where this person's going. It may not be what I wanted, but I understand, and I can kind of like figure out where their pathway, or like see that it was just messy to get there, but I figure out the pathway. There was never a time I figured out the pathway in that one.
Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, so don't be scared. But as far as the end, I could have told you at the end. I could have told you
That's true. Yeah.
That's the one part I could have told you.
Yeah. I don't like
That's
that
all.
I could have told you. But
yeah, I don't like that, but I could have told you.
I didn't enjoy that I could have told you that, but I could have told you that. Yeah.
Riko-san, wa shite mitai. Like, that was cute. A quick binge most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then I was on Viki and I saw that the two, well, I thought both of the novelists like accompanied shows were available at the time, which was wrong. The newest one is not all out yet, just in case anyone cares. I'm sure no one does. But I went and watched Mood Indigo, which is like the prequel to the novelist.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that the novelist is NC-17, like Mood Indigo is like a couple notches more than that.
Whoa.
You're in it to win it in that one, yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen it, Natalia?
Yes.
Yes.
Like there's certain times where I'll be watching and it's always a Japanese show. It's always a Japanese show where I'll be watching something and I'll just be like lying in bed watching it on my phone and it'll be pretty spicy, and then like there will be noises, and then my husband will be like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Listen, I don't want to justify what I'm watching right now. Please don't ask." It's one of those.
Yeah. So what I will say, so the novelist pretty much involves 3 people and kind of 2 main dudes, and then there's like this third like agent, college buddy person, an ex-roommate type. Well, Mood Indigo is about the main guy with him in the past. And there's a lot of time jumping. It all makes sense, I guess. And so then the new one I did watch like the first episode of the new one that they're kind of pumping out now. And it's finally kind of the sequel of the novelist. Something about spring. I don't remember. So it's actually all very well done. The reason I like those shows is like emotionally speaking, I think it feels very true to life of like flawed people who don't even maybe know why they want to have a relationship or any. I don't know. I think it's very grounded in those things and well shot. But if you do not want super spicy, do not watch Mood Indigo because
don't do it. You're in for a bad time.
And I'm not saying that every episode's like that. 'Tis not, but like that's a thing. Like so. I like the characters a lot. I think they're very well done. The Silent Sea, I really liked. We'll talk more about that sometime soon. So, but I really, really liked it. Binged it. Not in one sitting, but in one day. So I'm going to talk about actor Rocky one more time here.
Yay!
There's this new, I'm going to for lack of a better term, I would call it a web drama. But it is one of those multi-ending things.
A choose your own adventure style.
But you have to go buy it on Steam.
Oh,
like
Steam.
It's $5 on Steam. So it's essentially a game.
Huh.
So, that entry point, that all of a sudden takes, it's not to watch it on YouTube or something. So I know that they'll just be fans of Astro that'll go check it out. But, and the name of it is Korean name, Chungchun Hyungjon. And part of that's the main chick's name. Now, I will say, the premise of the show you have a love triangle, but they always harken back to, I guess, the three main characters. Their names are, there was like this classic love story in like old Joseon times. So their names are the same as these historical people that supposedly had a love triangle. So they sometimes talk about that, which of course I don't know that story, but they kept on referring to it. And so sometimes they'd show them in the old outfits too. It was kind of funny. I think there's 10 different endings, and on Steam you like earn your achievements and stuff. You get 10 different little badge things. The mechanics of the choices and stuff, you only have a certain amount of time. I mean, it was really slick the way they did it. Very nice subtitles. Like, it was all very, I think they also have them in Spanish, possibly. Like, I saw that listed, but I didn't go like click through on the actual game thing. If you're curious how to pause it, because it doesn't have like a, you know, a play bar just like we're used to on Netflix or Viki or anything on the bottom. You have to just hit escape, and then it brings up, like, it stops it, and then it gives you the options like in a game. But I really, really enjoyed it. And one thing I did want to say, and there's a little bit of gay representation, and they didn't go really weird with that. And it was just kind of a matter of fact thing, not a like whenever they would talk about that, it wasn't, like it wasn't. But at the same time, the characters that were that way ended up doing unkind things, and so maybe that's not great. But like, it wasn't because they were gay. It was because they were just kind of, they made the wrong choices. You know what I mean? So that's maybe the only slightly problematic aspect of that. But it wasn't the existence of them being gay that made problems, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that was really cute. The main actress, and then there's another one. They're from Waikiki Mikey.
Oh, that's cool.
Science or C, and I don't know how to say her name. SEI. And Ellie, which I can say her name. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a huge cast, but it was. I thought they did a really good job.
Sounds interesting. It's a interesting format to do and play around with.
Yeah,
and I should have. I guess it took me about an hour to crank through all the endings and stuff. It was really well done. Even in the modern times of the show, like, she would do a little tour for them of the old cool building and stuff. So you could tell really cool. Like, it was funded by the tourism people. So they were trying to get people to certain areas. So yeah, I just thought it was really good. It's just a bummer that it's not like, but because of the mechanics of it, I think that's why.
If you think of it as a video game, then you know, like, you would pay $5 to go play. I like some Otome thing on, you know,
right. I like those video games anyway, so I'm like, hey, a video game in which Rocky is acting for me. Yeah, I'm good. It was fun.
Fine. Done. I'm in it to win it.
And then last night I went on to Netflix, and I was gonna like work on something else that I was trying to watch. But no, the Japanese movie, The Door into Summer, was just right there, and I couldn't say no to it, so I watched it. Because it was like sci-fi, and like it looked charming, and I was like, okay. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's really cool how, I think Japanese shows in general that I've seen, they don't need a huge budget in order to, like, let's say they're doing a sci-fi show. They don't necessarily lean hard into the let's do very large scale special effects, but the special effects they choose to do, they do well. Like, we'll make this car really cool, and that'll pretty much sell the fact that everything's kind of cutting edge, and that's really all. And then like maybe a phone's neat, and that's really it. Like, they don't go too far, or they make a room just look a little bit more minimalist when they're doing that. And it's like, I accept that this is 2025. Like, that's fine.
Yeah,
like, that's easy. Yeah. But then like the story itself isn't leaning hard into the sci-fi. It's more leaning into just the relationships between the characters and stuff. There's just a lot of time travel in it. The main guy, he is a young, let's say he's 25, a young robotics guy who's like coming up with AI, like kind of the first person to kind of come up with that. And he's just had a rough go at life. Like, pretty much everyone that got close to him kept passing, like even the family that adopted him and stuff. But there's a kitty cat involved named Pete. And Pete's super cool. And the reason it's called The Door into Summer is like, it's all Pete, whenever he sees snow for the first time, he makes everybody open all the doors in the house because he wants to find Summer, and he thinks that Summer is behind one of the doors.
Aww.
And so they talk about that a few times. Like, I can't tell you all the details, of course, but there's time travel. It's set, like, the first setting you see is like 1995. And so then he gets frozen for 30 years. And so that's why you're in the future then. And things happen. But again, it's not like, ooh, super slick sci-fi, but to me, they sold it really well. It's mostly time traveling and relational is the main thing. And I thought that was kind of nice.
Very
And it's
cool.
based on a Robert Heinlein novel, and he's a really good author. He's a really good author. He wrote Starship Troopers, which I realize doesn't sound great if you don't see the movie, but the book is very good.
Don't be scared about the cat's fate. I did want to say that. Like, the entire movie, I was like, that was a thing for me, right? Like, the cat is a thing. Well, it's okay. The cat will be fine.
Excellent. It's nice to know those things sometimes going in.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to watch.
Actually, that makes me want to say something about the Silent Sea really quick, and I know I'm going back to that. The one thing I did want to preface about the Silent Sea, and I don't want to give anything away whatsoever. I know, like, folks like Amanda have concerns about children being in danger or whatever. Nothing is horrifically bad in the end for any children that you see.
Okay, good to know.
Though,
thank you.
That's not to mean that everything has happy endings or whatever. It's just that there was a moment in time that there was pain involved for a kid, and I knew that some people would be very, very concerned in that moment for some. So, like, that does occur. That might be triggering for some people. I did want to mention that about the Silent Sea. I mean, the Silent Sea also does show death a little bit, but to me it's not graphic either. Those are the two things I wanted to say about the Silent Sea. But I mean, people probably know that from seeing, like, the trailers. I'm just in order, because probably is not for literally everyone. Not everyone should turn on the Silent Sea by any means.
Fair enough.
So 3 things that I'm still watching, like presently watching. Tinted with You. So Tinted with You is a historical. We kind of forgot to mention that. A time travel historical, because as you do. As you do. Very, very short episodes. Cute. And doing a really good job. June always does a great job. He's a great actor. Bulgasal. It's a show. It's a show. And you can't make me give anything away, but the 2 things I will say are the first 2 episodes are primarily backstory in the past. Way in the past. So just prepare that that's what you're getting for the first 2 episodes. And you also do not get to see Hair Nor Hide of Lee June until episode 4.
Okay. Now, you cannot do this to me. You cannot put Lee June in every single advertisement for the show and then not have him show up.
Do not worry. He's
4.
in the very beginning of Silent Sea. You don't have to worry about waiting for him.
Silent Sea knew what it was about. It was giving you the June. Listen. My boy.
Because
boy.
And even at the end of episode 1, which of course I knew I was squarely still in backstory of, like, ancient times or something, I was like, I see no Lee June, and I am not pleased. Like, that needs to change. Good acting, things like that. I can't tell you much about it. If I will say gory-esque, like, like, so there's Goblin. The Goblin battle scenes, but more because there's, like, monsters involved. So that's a thing.
You're kind of selling this for me, though.
Yeah.
The fact that they bring up these are monsters that, like, because they'll be Korean named monsters that I have no idea, like, what on earth. So, like, I'll pause it and they'll be like, Google, like, what type. And one of them I couldn't figure it out. Google didn't want to tell me whatever monster that was. Sometimes they'll say, like, yeah, this one has red eyes or something, like in the subtitle or something. But sometimes I was just curious because, like, all types of stuff. Yeah, I mean, they show him from when he's a tiny boy and then when he's an adult, like, in the ancient times for, like, 2 episodes. So, like, I can't even just ruin that because there's just a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I'm probably in it to win it at this point, especially after episode 4. After the first 2 episodes, I was like, now I just have to wait for Lee June because I wanted to see what his character was. Like, I was just curious. And I wasn't quite sold on the premise because I was like, okay, angst. I get angst. I'm just feeling a lot of angst right now, and I just wasn't wanting to really keep going with that. But then, you're giving me a little bit more humanity in people. Oh, you show me what Lee Jun's up to. Okay. I'm here.
Fine.
Oh.
Yes.
June. That's all the people want.
It's
okay?
very true.
I mean,
It's
all
all
we
like
want.
that's literally the only reason I was like interested in the show.
But like,
I was like, Lee June, my boy.
Oh, say less.
and I understand the need for having the backstory, and I don't typically say this, but like if I were to have written it, I would have maybe done one episode, try to roll all the backstory, and then bring us up just a little bit quicker. I mean, I see the need for a lot of what we did, but it took, like I said, 4 episodes to really make me go, oh, I wish it wouldn't have taken that long. So I also have watched 2 episodes worth of Bad and Crazy, and I can't spoil that either. I don't know if I'm going to keep with it.
My favorite part, I wish you could see her face. And like, she's like pained when she's saying, she's like,
Yeah.
I
can't. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
It's the reason, and even me explaining like why I would drop, and again, you don't even have to have a reason to drop something. I'm totally not saying that. But for me, the reason that I may drop it is the tone. The tone of the character is weird. The tone of the character is weird.
Which is perfectly valid.
But at the same time, I really enjoy some of the secondary characters so much that I'm like, I mean, and he's doing a great job. Mr. Grim Reaper is doing a great job being what his character is. It's just, have you watched it at all, Natalia? You're sounding like you watched a little bit of it.
I watched the first episode, and then I was like, I'm gonna wait for a few more episodes to be out before I continue watching this. It's a weird one, man.
The end of episode 2, they finally get to the point of maybe what they were trying to say with what they've been doing. Then I'm like, okay, so I might give it the 4-episode test again. Because again, I think my thing is, if I'm not feeling humanity, or like if a character is supposed to have a redemptive arc, you got to be showing me a sign of that at some point near the beginning, that's where we're going. If not, that's fine too. But if it's not like my jam because of that reason, I don't know. I don't always need a redemptive arc, but if I'm not digging the character or something, and if I'm needing that redemptive arc in order to be invested, and if you're not giving it to me in the first like 5 episodes, like, come on guys, like if that's where we're heading, give me a sign that that's where we're heading. That's probably what's going to be happening in Bad and Crazy. I do wonder about mental illness representation ultimately with this show. And even the way at some juncture someone was like, we need to, you need therapy, don't take me to a shrink, just that, how K-dramas do. So we'll see how that goes. The thing about Bad and Crazy is I know exactly what I want to say about it, but it's a spoiler, so I can't.
Yep.
I wasn't excited for Uncanny Counter 2nd season, but I'm hoping this is not a glimpse at what it's going to be.
Oh, really?
Because the writer and director team on Bad and Crazy are the ones on Uncanny Counter, technically. The director was on Uncanny Counter the entire time. The writer is the new writer that literally did like 2 or 3 episodes at the end of the series, because there was a writer switch.
And I still haven't watched those, but I will. There was a writer
switch, and then the director wrote one of the episodes, and then the new writer came on, and that new writer is who's on Bad and Crazy with him. So I'm not saying like they can't do different things for different projects, but
man, I want to spoil it so bad. I can't. I'm not going to do that to you guys, but it's just,
I will give it a chance. Like, especially get to me in another 2 days when we get
no rush.
Actually in the new year. I'm not going to be so like gung-ho about like, watching dramas. So
I will say, if anyone is interested in Bad and Crazy, if you really can't handle it after episode 1, that's fine. But give it to episode 2. It explains what it's up to, and then see if you still want to stick with it. Which entertainment value, it's probably fine. It's just, I'm not even necessarily in a bad headspace for it. I was pretty amped. I'm not sure I was amped for the show for a long time, but once I finally figured out what it was about, I was like, oh, this seems like it might be fun. Because I knew that he'd have a good time playing a character like that. Like, he does very well.
Yeah.
And then the other kid just seemed like I wanted to see him on a motorcycle doing whatever the heck he's up to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Whenever you also then have like really grounded secondary characters, it's like, we'll see. And that was it for me.
I have not had a whole lot of Asian drama watching going on.
That's fine.
It has been Christmas and we
That's
have been
fine.
watching Christmas movies. So
I
I
guess
will
when
say,
you have kids at Christmas, you do more
Yeah.
stuff.
no, I mean, to be fair, my favorite of the Christmas things that I watched was Single All the Way, which I highly recommend. And I did not watch that with my kids. Not that they couldn't have watched it. They just have no interest in watching a Christmas rom-com.
They couldn't because they don't want to.
Exactly. We started, my son was like, it's Christmas. We should watch a Christmas movie on Christmas, right? And we're like, okay. So we're flipping through all this stuff and he can't decide. And it's like, just pick something. So he picks one of these ones that it's like the opposite of that Nicolas Cage one, the Family Man. Like, instead of being a high-powered executive who sees what his life could have been, it's this housewife who sees what her life could have been if she had not got married and had kids. And we're like half an hour into it and he's like, this is what it is, right? It's this. I'm not watching this. This is no, forget it, right? So like,
You're like,
I mean, it was like
hitting
a
a little
Hallmark
too
movie
Yeah.
one.
Little
Like,
kitty.
it was, yeah. So he was like, no, we're not watching that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Then when we turned that off, he and I decided to start watching Wheel of Time together. So we're watching Wheel of Time. So I fell in
Ooh,
that
the
hole.
rogue Daniel Henny ass that just came across that one screen. I was
Yeah,
like,
I know,
"Ooh,
right?
I love Daniel Henney more than I should.
Daniel Henny, fine
Pretty
as
good in
hell.
this.
I have.
Fine
So-
as
He's literally the only
hell.
reason I picked up.
Like, I love the Wheel of Time books, so it was like I was gonna watch it anyway because I was like watching like adaptations of like really big book series because I want to see like what they do with
yeah.
it, right? Because you can't just put it directly on film, which a lot of people think, but you can't because a 13 book where each book is like 800 pages, you
just can't do
make that a TV series.
Yeah.
You can't do it. So actually, I've been really enjoying it. But like, I was gonna watch it anyway. But then when they were like, "Oh yeah," and Daniel Henny as your favorite character, I was like,
know.
All right. And he's great in it.
Okay.
I mean,
I've
I'm
been
really
like putting
enjoying
it off because I needed to
So-
finish those dramas, but yeah,
I mean-
it's going on my list.
So we were at my in-laws and started watching it, and then we were like, okay, he's like, I mean, we've only got 6 episodes left. We've got 36 hours. We can do it. I'm like, we're here to visit your family. Like, no, we can't, you know.
"Yes, you can."
We will just
Yes,
get
you
the free
can.
30-day trial membership. It's fine. Okay. Like, we will watch it at home. So we're watching that. We're enjoying it. I have not read the books. It's one of those things where I always meant to, but then one day you look up and there's 13 books and you're like, nah,
Mhm.
not
They're
starting
like
that.
real- no.
Forget it.
For
So
anyone who is thinking of reading the books, okay, there are 13 books and they're all massive. And I will warn you, the last 2 books are written by a different guy because the Robert Jordan died. This is important to note that he died while writing this series. So the last 2 books are written by Brandon Sanderson. And around book 7 to like where Brandon Sanderson starts writing them, you can tell this guy was getting old because they're slow. But if you make it all the way to those Brandon Sanderson books, holy shit, they're good.
That's a really good person to
So
pick
good.
as like a replacement. So
Yeah.
He's an incredible writer. And it was sort of funny because in like the first book that he writes, like all of these really long running, like dangling plot threads, he like ties those shit up in like a chapter and then it's like, okay, let's get going. And
nice.
it's so good.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a really good show. It's
I
a really
like
good book series.
with something like that to watch the TV series or movie first too. And if I get really hooked into it, then I'll read the books, right? But I find that, yeah, if you read the books first, sometimes it's too hard to like,
Mhm.
because you've already pictured the characters, you've already got things in your head, and then it gets hard. But I will say I'm very, very much enjoying the show. Like,
the casting of the show is wildly amazing.
Yeah,
like,
it's very good.
Wildly amazing. And for anyone who's saying it's not, you're racist. That's the only reason you're saying it. No, like that. I'm saying it now. If you're like, oh, I know like the cat, it's because you're racist. Okay.
Think about it and fix it.
Think about it and try again.
Because it's a delight. Like
really good.
I'm quite liking it. And then I'm also watching Witcher season 2 with my husband.
Yeah.
So like, you know, also not Asian TV, but
it is what
you know what? Sometimes you just gotta be a part of your family. So I did, you know.
Okay, if you say so.
So I did finish off from 5 to 9. It was cute. It was not groundbreaking or anything, but the final episode does take place at Christmas with like, and so it was very well timed for me. So I will say this, J-dramas do a much better job of like incorporating Christmas into their dramas, maybe because they're shorter dramas or something. I don't know. Listen, but like they do a good job. I think that was like 2 J-dramas that I watched in the last month that both basically ended with big Christmas, like tree lighting, like stuff going on. I was like, oh, well timed, well chosen me. So that was good. I finished watching New World. They clearly, as Netflix does, intend to
continue
have seasons, you know, 2, 3, and up to 10. Who knows with Netflix? You never know how long it'll go, but it was fun. There were some challenges are more fun than other challenges. My 10-year-old was very bored with one of the, he's like, they're just doing real estate, like that's the thing. I was like, basically,
yeah, man, like, it's a thing. What of it?
So
what about it?
Other stuff was good. It was fun. It was a fun one, and it was quite enjoyable. I will watch season 2 as well, I'm sure. I'm also watching Bad Buddy. Again, not groundbreaking, like story-wise, it's not groundbreaking. Fine. What really sells it is the leads. They have great chemistry together. And I mean, is an adorable golden retriever puppy character. And who's the other one? Nanon. Yeah. He is so good. Like, he's so good with his facial expressions and his
boy can cry like a
smirky, like, what are you doing right now? Kind of little looks and stuff. It's great. And they really sell. I mean, they're friends in real life. They really, really sell this just solid friendship that also has a romantic edge to it. And they're great together. They're adorable. So it's worth watching for them, I'd say. And I started watching Idol the Coop. The Coup. Sorry. So good. Wildly good. This is a really, really, really good idol drama about idols. Really kind of depressing. I'm like 5 episodes in, and I think I've cried or teared up almost every episode because it's hard to watch, especially when you're a K-pop fan and you know that these are the things that happen to people in that industry. It's hard to watch and be like, right, yeah, that's something that people go through. That's something that my faves have probably gone through, and it's kind of rough. The point where I'm at right now, like, some really big stuff happened all of a sudden at like episode 4 or 5, and it was like, okay, I don't know where we're going from here, but it's really good. Like, it's just a really good drama that happens to be about the idol system, as opposed to like what you might think of as idol dramas, quote unquote. The music is also really good. So like,
sometimes when you're watching these fake group dramas, the music is
questionable.
It's a thing, you know, like
one of the things that's kind of interesting with it is that I'm not sure, because I'm not familiar enough with everybody to know if it's the same people who are on the soundtrack who are doing these little bits, but every episode starts with these little black and white segments where they're interviewing actual idols or people who were in the idol system, and like, now he's a sound guy, or because he was in a failed idol group. They're interviewing people who were trainees or who were in idol groups that debuted and never went anywhere and stuff. And it's kind of heartbreaking, but also like interesting to see that. And then some of them I think are actually on the soundtrack because some of them are like soloists now or that kind of thing. But cool. It's good. It's a really, I was surprised. I just popped it on one day because I was like, oh, sure. She was like, hey, you should watch this. And I was like, yeah,
sure,
right.
sure.
You know, trying to get my like Christmas knitting done. And I was like, sure, put it on. And then I was like, whoa, okay, this is good. And I like it. So that's my other one. I'm trying to get that one and Rinko-san wrapped up before, midnight tomorrow. So
I think you could do it, especially with Rinko-san.
We believe in you. We believe in you.
Idol might be a little harder because they are like full length drama.
Yeah, Rinko-san's like 20-ish.
So
minutes.
I definitely can get Rinko-san done. Idol might take me till the end of the weekend. We'll see. We'll, it's a weekend. We'll just mush it all together and call it done.
It's all good, man.
Well,
it's all
one
good.
that I want to mention that I think that you watched too, Amanda, Encanto.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
was that?
Went to see it in the theater and it was so good. We had like a super socially distant opportunity to go to the movie theater. No, took my 10-year-old and sobbed through the whole thing. Like it's so good.
It's really, really good. Like
I hear a lot of the music on the old TikToks.
I do too as well. And there was also like some drama with someone, so now I know everything about it. Because everybody was like, no, you just like weren't paying attention. So here's this and this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now I know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's really it is a story about generational trauma, like family trauma, and it hits hard. Like you just, some of those things, some of the characters and the things and you're just like, that's a heavy story that you're telling me.
It was, yeah,
but really well done. So good.
Yeah.
So.
And of course it was charming because of
course. I mean, it's colorful and like I hear people sort of say the musical numbers aren't that great until this one and people love this one and I'm like, you know what, I enjoyed them all. Were they groundbreaking? No, it's Disney doesn't break ground, it just does Disney. Like, was it enjoyable? Were they toe tapping songs? Were they fun to sing along to? Yes. So that's what you're looking for. Disney is not making these movies for you. They're making it for 6-year-olds and to sell stuff. So like, did your 6-year-old enjoy it? Did my 10-year-old enjoy it? Yes, he loved it.
Yeah.
Solid.
The thing is, as an adult, I feel like sometimes a Disney movie will be like, I really enjoy that one because of like, for instance, I loved Frozen before it was the thing it became, because I really liked the aesthetics of Frozen because I liked all of the art that was like in it and stuff. Just because I thought it was neat.
Yeah.
So I feel like as an adult, we look at, kind of the cultural things and things like that that are included more. Whereas kids are like, it's colorful and there's animals and I'm having fun.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, that's fine.
Right. It was like that with the new Star Wars movies. I went and saw the first one in the theater with my kids. And afterwards, people are like, it was, people were complaining about it. And that's fine. You don't have to like it. But somebody said to me, oh yeah, didn't they just, and I said, you know what? I sat in that theater next to my 5-year-old or whatever he was at the time. And I kept looking at him and his face was exactly the face that it was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
The exact same face that we all had when we watched Star Wars in the theater at that age originally. He was loving it. He was in awe. He was being blown away.
He was the intended audience.
So, you know what? I was like, no, it obviously did exactly what it set out to do because he looked at it the way I looked at it at his age in the theater. So no, I think they nailed it. Like, I don't care what the dude bros who have a million theories and have read all the books and, the 5-year-old loved it. So they did their job. that's about it for me. I did not do a lot of watching stuff.
Yeah, listen, man, it's that time of year. And with that, that's it for what we're watching. Thank you for listening. Tune in on Wednesday to listen to what we are listening to, which is our nice little shorter little episode that we do. It's like, it's the tiny little sister of the what we're watching. We hope that your new year is beginning super safely. And thank you for listening to us. If you want all the links to everything, because you're listening to this on Spotify and you're like, wow, I really wish there was a link to that thing they talked about. Well, you're going to have to go to certifiednunas.com, our home on the web, where we have links and time codes to every single episode we have ever done. And there is quite a few of them. So if you're a new listener, worry not. There's a nice backlog for you. Anyway, we're anywhere that podcast can be found. We are generally there as well. So feel free to give us a like and a review if you're on one of those places. If you would like to support this podcast, you can go to Certified Noon. No, you can't. If you would like to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednunas to become part of our certified found family, which is our little family of supporters on the web. And we love them so much, and they're the best, and they keep everything going, and they're awesome. Also, if you would like to have more of discussions about stuff we talk about on our episodes, we have a Discord server. It's fun. It's fun over there. We are on social media, primarily Instagram and Facebook. Not Instagram, Facebook. That's a lie. We are on social media, primarily Instagram and Twitter. And it's always at Certified Nunas, one word, where you can find us. And we love hearing from people. So hit us up on the web. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic week and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.